Blackpool. Love it or hate it, this town with a population of over 140,000 has stood the test of time and holds a place in many a seaside lover's heart. We speak to a local historian, 2 residents of the town, and the mayor herself to uncover the truth and history of this seaside resort. I'm Connor Ratcliffe, welcome to Blackpool.
We are increasing every year. We're getting millions of tourists. But sitting on the beach, unless it's very hot, is not what people want to do nowadays.
Blackpool was founded in the county of Lancashire in the early 18th century and has forever been a town attracting tourists from not only the north of England, but also around the world. From the early 20th century, Blackpool saw a boom in popularity, with workers coming in from towns such as Preston and Manchester, where the workers came on holiday.
The lengthening shadows among the sideshows remind us that the mop is a one-day fair. And the itinerant
At the same time, workers were enjoying holidays at the seaside resort. MPs were holding conferences at the Winter Gardens.
No more bosses versus workers. We are on the same side, the same team.
Blackpool couldn't have been doing better. By 1910, the town boasted 4 million visitors in the year, and by the mid-1930s, 7 million people were visiting the resort. This industry boosted employment and created 7,500 more jobs by 1951 compared to 60 years prior. This boost in the economy also affected the morale of the people living there, as the resort quickly became a must-visit tourist destination.
We stepped away from the family orientated.
I can honestly say, if you go to Blackpool now, you don't feel safe in Blackpool. I don't think.
Probably through no fault of their own, as I say, because of financial. If you need to put people into a hotel, they want guests to come, irrespective of who it is.
It's expensive. For a family, it's expensive. We don't cater for families though.
I think they are trying, slowly but surely. But people don't realise that everybody just sees the front of Blackpool, as in the prom. They don't step a mile or 2 miles back and look at Blackpool from that point of view, or the local point of view. They only cater for, or try and cater for, the visitor.
We cater for second ends and it's rubbish.
This continuing decline in the industry, despite heavy investments in attempts to revitalise the resort, including a failed bid for Britain's first super casino and 13 million visitors in 2014, there were 2,500 less jobs in 2013 than in 1991. Blackpool's reputation has declined alongside its tourism. Many associate the town with crime and unemployment, with social media and mainstream media bashing the town in recent months. And while some find this an unfair assumption coming from people who have never been to the town, it can be hard to ignore the statistics. In February of 2017 alone, there have been 246 crimes reported, with 86 being antisocial behaviour and 50 being violence and sexual offences. The future of Blackpool looks uncertain, with crime rates not looking to decline anytime soon. However, there seems to be some hope for the once world-famous seaside town, as the council are looking to modernise the resort.
I've got a very high opinion of most of the people of Blackpool. At mayor making last year, when I was installed as mayor, as the deputy mayor said, I did say then, one of the things I really wanted to do was go round all the many community groups who are volunteering, unpaid, unrecognised, but working so hard for Blackpool.
The money the government is investing in the North West will hopefully bring back some prosperity for the residents of Blackpool.
At Easter, the Easter Hockey Festival, it's been coming since 1952. You know, the homing pigeons, they come every January. There have been tens of thousands of people in. What seaside resort doesn't want that in the middle of winter? They've been coming for so many years, and they come back because they like the town. And the town looks after them. And the more people that come, I think that is the best way. Blackpool has always attracted people to come and live. Unfortunately, with the odd person, they remember it, they enjoyed the holiday so much, and when they're having a bad time, they come here and think, oh, Blackpool will be great for me, and it's a disappointment. That's the only time I think people are disappointed. I mean, people come to retire to the seaside.
Yeah.
I mean, my father was born in Manchester, my mother in Blackburn, but they moved here and never moved back. Tourism will always be our number one business.
Yeah.
Blackpool is named after the dark water, the peaty-coloured water that came out at Manchester Square. So it's similar in its name origin to Blackburn, Dublin and Liverpool. They all get their town city names from the colour, the darkened colour of the water that was nearby. At the time, Blackpool, it was hardly of any importance, first had a settlement. The water from Martin Mere flowed out to the sea at what's now Manchester Square, and it would be dark coloured. So it was running water. It wasn't a pool in the sense that we think of a pond. It was a stream of dark coloured running water. That's the origin of its name. The 30s were very good years. Blackpool was building its infrastructure. There were new theatres, there were new attractions in the 30s. The 50s were maybe the end of the very traditional seaside holiday where working towns had wakes weeks and things like that. But there again, Blackpool still attracts 10 million plus visitors every year, so who's to say when Blackpool's peak was? In both the First World War and the Second World War, Blackpool did very well out of war, because war gave Blackpool a year-round economy rather than a season-long economy. In both wars, Blackpool was a base for troops, or in the Second World War for RAF trainees. So landladies did very well in wartime in Blackpool. The thing about war is that there's always people who gain from war. Blackpool's economy was huge during the war times. There's so much that's good going on in Blackpool. So many people love the town. It has such a surfeit of goodwill from its traditional visitor market. I think parents who themselves came as children bring their own children, and Blackpool's always a place where there's plenty to do. And I've always thought if you bring children to Blackpool, you'll have a fan for life, because they in turn will bring their own children. So I think Blackpool has a very good future. Blackpool does have deep-seated problems of poverty and deprivation, addiction problems, mental health problems. They're not necessarily problems that come from Blackpool people. The seaside attracts an influx of people from other places who come with problems. So Blackpool has problems to solve, a great deal of poverty, but a wonderful tourist infrastructure that continues to attract people, and an awful lot of people who are working really hard to make Blackpool successful. Blackpool will have to, everybody in Blackpool knows that all those problems have to be addressed, and they're not going to be sorted out in a short-term period.